Alright guys, here's a quick video on my 10 SCTE from Losi. This is the TLR tuning kit which has been installed. Very lengthy process to get this whole kit installed because there's lots of screw turning and various other things. So we're going to take you through a little video here and show you guys little tips and tricks and what all is included in the tuning kit. So overall, the tuning kit retails out there for about $129. If you add all the parts up, it's a little over $190 for all the parts, so not too bad of a value. If you look around for some coupons at certain websites, like Nitro House, you can save a little bit more money. So the other thing I wanted to do, just a little sidebar here, you'll notice I have a nice little backdrop and some better lighting for you guys so you can see everything in detail on the HD videos that I am uploading. So more to come on that, and we'll work on the cameras and all that other stuff, angles and all that fun stuff. So first thing, let's start with the shocks. The tuning kit offers new aluminum caps and also the little spring retention collars, both in aluminum. The shock caps are very nice. They have a little bleeder valve on them so that you can tune them very nicely. All shocks I basically had at a 1/2-inch rebound. So a little bit of pressure in there. You do have to take the bladder out of the old shock cap and put it in the new shock cap. And as far as the oils, I ended up rebuilding the fronts to 35 weight away from the stock 30 weight, and then I left the 30 weight in the rear. So I rebled all of those, obviously, since you're changing shock caps. There's also the shock standoffs, which are a one-piece design, and you'll see them right there. They're now black aluminum versus the little silver 3mm screws that once held that. So a little bit stronger, and you do have to use the 2/4-inch nuts that came with the kit to mount those standoffs. So very nice shocks now. I did opt to remove the boots. I'm going to be running on primarily clay tracks, so no need for the boots at this time. And they also do get a little bit of stiction on compression. So went ahead and removed those, both front and rear. The front shocks, I am running the gold springs, which is one notch harder than the black ones that came stock with the kit. And on the rear, I am running the black springs, which came stock with it. So, and once again, no boots. Pretty much all looking good so far. The other probably biggest improvement on the tuning kit away from stock are the carbon fiber shock towers. The rear one is notorious to bend as far as the stock stamped aluminum ones that come with the kit. So those are now carbon fiber, both front and rear. Not too bad. The front one, you do still have to mount this little plastic piece right here that kind of creates the angle, so to speak, of the front shock tower, so it's not straight up and down. You can kind of see the angle of that shock tower right there. So next biggest improvement on the tuning kit is you do get both front and rear hinge pin holders. So they are machined aluminum versus the stamped that came with the kit. The biggest thing I found on installing those is I ended up leaving this rear one a little bit loose, and the reason for that is with the harshness of the corners of the hinge pin holders and I don't know if you guys can see that there, but there's a little section right there that is slightly rounded on the TLR chassis. It was kind of hard to get that thing to fit in perfectly, so I left it a little bit loose, gave it some wiggle room, and then once I got everything mounted in from underneath, I went ahead and tightened those two silver screws, the one right there, right below the drive shaft. So as far as those, they do give you some adjustment. They give you several different offsets. In the kit it listed as 1, 0.5, and 0. I left everything at 0 just to keep it all kind of even right now, and then we'll tune from there. And ironically, the Team Losi drivers also run all zeros, both front and rear. So those are those hinge pin holders. Not too bad. As far as the fronts, the front was a little bit more complicated because you do have to not only remove the rear bulkhead, but you have to disassemble the steering on the bottom, also this front screw up here to remove from the chassis brace. So I also ended up undoing this is right here as far as the steering horn to have the whole front clip off of the vehicle, and that way I could put on those new hinge pin holders. The last thing that you do get with the kit is you do get aluminum rear hub carriers, which going to be kind of hard to see in here. I should have probably took a wheel off for you guys, but those are right in there. They are very easy to install, very straightforward. The stock bearings are very, very tight going into those, so kind of be careful with that. Maybe grease them up or use a little bit of oil. Mine was already pre-oiled from the factory since I have not run it yet, and they went in pretty easily. So that is the rear hub carriers, and once again machined aluminum. So that is pretty much it as far as the tuning kit. I also want to show you guys one other thing that I added with a tuning kit that it just made sense to do it at that time. And the first thing is this RPM front bumper. Since I was removing the front bulkhead, might as well have went ahead and did that as well. So picked up the RPM front bumper, and it basically just provides a lot of under chassis protection there. So I'll lean this up here so you guys can see that a little bit better. And they do provide longer screws. They are still 3/32 screws, so keep that in mind as well. And the one thing on the RPM front bumper is they give you this little tiny tab, and I thought I had forgot to use it at first and I had to kind of redo it, but there's a tab right in here that sits right below the hinge pin holder and between the chassis, and what that's designed to do is the old bumper kind of slid into that little slot there, so this kind of takes up that room, so to speak, so nothing gets caught in there and kind of wedges inside of the bulkhead. The last thing I did add was the rear DE Racing skid plate. I was going to opt for the RPM one, but RPM same price, and the DE Racing I got 3 of them. So you use the same screws on the DE Racing, and it went in pretty straightforward. So not too bad. That should give the chassis a little bit more longer life and hopefully protect it from major gouges and whatnot. So that's it for now on the TLR tuning kit and some of the other upgrades I've done. I'm pretty much ready to run now. I'm just painting up my body and get some stickers on it, and I should be doing some running videos here very shortly. And I have solved the issue of not being able to film and drive at the same time, so we'll see how that works. As always, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you like my channel, subscribe. I love new subscribers out there. So that's it for now, guys. Any questions? Throw them on down below. Over and out.